Hi, it's Pam from Ben.Cuzzylugs. Thanks for coming back again for today's March Madness dog training tips. And today's tips are tricks and should you teach your dog. And I think you already know what my answer to this is going to be, that yes, you should teach your dog tricks. And in my mind, there is absolutely no difference. Everything you teach your dog is a trick. Whether he's walking to heel, whether you're asking him to get off the sofa, everything is a trick. I think the main difference is people sometimes see that when they're doing obedient, serious things, their dogs are a little stressed and they're a lot happier when they're doing tricks. And the actual reason for this is not the dog seeing them as different, it's the fact that you've seen them as different. So you've decided that walking nicely on a lead is proper serious, or staying is really, really important. So you teach it a little more, shall we say, aggressively. You're a bit more annoyed if the dog gets it wrong, whereas tricks are just a bit of fun. If he doesn't do it, well, fair enough, we'll just teach it a bit better. So the dog finds these more fun because you don't make them so serious. So maybe if you thought about the important obedience things as less serious, then your dog is going to be less stressed about them and actually perform them better. So one reason why I think tricks are so important is they totally allow you to mentally and physically exercise your dog at times when perhaps you can't get out to do it. There's been times when I've been visiting family and the weather's been so bad, we've been snowed in, minus 15 degrees C during the day. My gearbox and my door on my car were frozen shut. We couldn't actually go anywhere beyond the back garden, and my dogs are used to long walks. So if I didn't have a way to tire them out without miles of exercise, then they would have really been climbing the walls. But I was able to train them some tricks in the house that contained at least some of their energy and gave them something to do so they didn't get proper bored. It's also surprisingly useful in the most unexpected places. I actually one time, I'd been teaching my dogs a frisk trick, pretending that I was a policeman and get them to put their paws against a wall so I could frisk them. And strangely enough, that actually came in useful. I was on a narrow bridge and it had sort of parapets sticking out that were about a foot sort of square sticking out. And a person on a wheelchair came up on the bridge and there was no room for the wheelchair and dogs, so I had to get my dogs out of the way and we couldn't get off the bridge in time, but I was able to actually get them to put their paws up against the parapet and tuck into these little gaps, and the wheelchair was able to get past, which would have been a lot more difficult if I hadn't trained this trick. Equally, my dog Ben had a rash on his tummy at one point, and going into the vets, I had taught him to be able to lie on his back and basically show his tummy, so we were able to do this as a trick, whereas it might have been quite a stressful thing for a dog to have to be manhandled into that position. Now I know some people believe that dogs should let you just push them into that position because it shows they're submitting to you, but actually that's not the truth anyway. Some dogs will let you. My dog Ben, even if anyone believes in any kind of dominant stuff, Ben is the softest dog on the planet, but he doesn't like being physically tipped. It's just his personality. There is nothing stubborn or dominant about him. He just doesn't like being manhandled like that. But if you actually teach him what you want him to do, then he'll do it nice and happily for you. I also believe it's really important for physically conditioning a dog, to build muscles in their core and to have understanding of where all four paws are, or how their limbs are working, and that's actually quite important in reducing injuries in dogs. So I'd totally say it's a good thing to do at least some conditioning, some balance work with your dogs. But in the simplest terms, it makes them happy to work with us. A dog is a wolf who likes to work with people. So if we give them a job by just having to teach them some tricks, then that makes them happier. It also helps us understand how our dogs think more. It helps us feel better about our dogs and have a better relationship with them. So why not? Why not just teach your dog some tricks? So thank you for joining me again, and come back again tomorrow.